quite a good one. But what a lot of people don't know is during the 1950s, the Americans, even before they developed these projects in remote viewing, the Americans were looking at psychic spying in terms of something called M.K. Often. You may not have heard of M.K. Often, Bob, but it was the earliest psychic spy experimentations, and it was called M.K. Often. Often we achieve our goals, often we do not. And they were using fortune tellers, and they were using all kinds of psychics to see if they could use them for intelligence gathering purposes. And it was at that time in 1947 that you had the incident at Roswell, and you had the agency, I think under Truman form, which was called Majestic 12.
That's right, yeah.
What a lot of people don't know is, and I think even Majestic 12 didn't even know, was that according to the excellent work of researcher Nick Redfern, there was another agency that sprung up in America called the Collins Elite. It consisted of the American Air Force, the FBI, and elements of the military. They were very smart, and they wanted to know why UFOs were coming into their airspace. What was triggering a UFO presence in the skies over America? They wanted to know what was going on, why this was happening, and they very cleverly traced it back to a guy, now then, what was his name? Hughes Corporation. He worked for the Hughes Air Corporation. I've forgotten his name. Hughes Aircraft Corporation he worked for. And I've forgotten his name. I'll have to look it up later. But basically,
that's okay.
Yeah, they traced it back, which is very clever, to a guy who was working for the Hughes Aircraft Company, who was a friend of L. Ron Hubbard's. This is the story. And they traced it back. These UFOs were coming in due to occult ritual. They traced back the presence of these UFOs were coming in due to occult ritual, and they wondered why that was happening. They discovered that these UFOs were coming in due to tears in space-time, and that was due to these great big occult rituals that was going on. And so the Collins Elite, named after the cheese-making district of New York, developed their own kind of analysis and intelligence-gathering operation to wonder if UFOs were demonic. And it's interesting that there is an interview with Paola Harris. I'll have to get the interview up there. He's a Monsignor in the Catholic Church. And the Catholic Church has their own department dedicated to UFOs, aliens, angels, the demonic. And the research was quite evident, according to the Collins Elite, that there was something going on that was quite amiss. And this formed the basis of a concept called non-human entities, or NHEs, which the Department of Defense were already researching. And so, in order to look at the UFO situation and to see if America was being attacked by something untoward, they looked at this. The Collins Elite looked at this very seriously. It's rumoured, Bob, that the Collins Elite are still in operation today, and they're still looking around trying to discover what's going on behind the scenes. And that's a very interesting story in itself. And I'll just a clue for the listeners, because it gets into a terrifying area. But clue for the listeners is 2 world conflicts: World War I, World War II, a possible third one. What's the actual cause really? What's really going on? Even though we see it as geopolitical agendas and we see it as the different agendas of countries and nations fighting against each other, I would say that that's the net moving. What's the football? Where's the football? What's the ball? What's causing this? And so that's kind of like the information that the Collins Elite and psychic espionage will be looking at. And the thing is, Bob, is that I think Russia, America, and all of them do know what's going on. They'll probably have detailed analysis of it. It'll be similar to the X-Files. And we saw that open up, didn't we, on Channel 5, the first series the other night, didn't we? I don't know whether you saw it. And some of it was a bit off-piste. Some of it bared no resemblance to what goes on. No, it really doesn't, and yet some of it did. But what is interesting is the pressure that's involved with it all, and the fact that it's just, quite a filthy little business. There's no rest from it, Bob. No rest from it at all. There really is